Hello everyone, welcome to another video with My Life in the Middle. This is your girl Lanisha, and today I'm coming to y'all to talk about my wonderful world of Hermès and to talk about the a la carte process. Yes, the process of making a special order for Hermès. So your girl got a special order offer in early March. Can y'all believe it? I was shocked. I was shocked. And the reason why I was so shocked is because I had just got my Birkin 30 Togo black with gold hardware on Valentine's Day. So in early March, when I got the special order offer, I was like, for real? Seriously? Ain't no way. All right, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I really debated if I wanted to do this video because let me tell you something. I am not a content creator. You can tell that I am new at this because while all this was going down, my first reaction wasn't to pull out my camera and start recording or taking pictures. It wasn't. That was not on my mind. My mind was I was just in so much disbelief, and I was like, oh my God. So I was like, okay, how can I do a video about this when I don't really have all the tea? I don't have all the photos. I don't have everything to share with my family and let y'all know what happened. So what we gonna do? We gonna talk about my personal experience, do a little story time about how it all went down for me. And then what we're going to also do is we're going to use some photos from, other people's content that I have seen about the special order process so that you can have a visual while I'm talking. But no, I did not take any photos of my own, other than I did take a photo of what my special order would be, if you understand what I mean. So let's just get right to it. So on a Friday morning, I got a text from my Hermès SA, and she asked me if I was busy, that day, and if I would be able to come in to the store. I told her that unfortunately I was busy. I had another appointment. So she asked me if I could come into the store sometime in the upcoming week. And I said, sure. She said she wanted me to come into the store on a day that I had enough time so that she and I can go over some stuff. So when she said that, I was like, what are you talking about? And I will tell you why she said this. Because usually when I go into Hermès, I'm literally going in quickly. I go in like in between my work day. So I might have a break in my work day and my office is about 10 minutes away from the store. So I'll rush in quickly, look quickly, get whatever items and leave, right? So my visits to Hermès are never extended visits. They're truly a run in and run out type of visit. So she said she needed me to come to the store when I had more time so she could discuss certain things with me. So I was like, girl, what are you talking about? What do we gotta discuss? Okay, all right. But I was a little, what are the possibilities? What are the possibilities? So in my mind, I was like, okay, well, the only time I'm going to have that I could really come in was the following Friday, because then I would be off work and I could just, come in, in the morning after I drop my kids off and stuff like that. And, to spend the morning with her and discuss whatever she wanted to discuss. So we made an appointment for the following Friday morning at around 10:30. Okay. Now, y'all know I'm nosy, right? Yep, your girl is nosy. Your girl is nosy. So I just kept thinking, what is it that she want to talk to me about? Why do she say I have to have time? It never bothered her before if I just run in and run out. I mean, what's going on? I don't understand. Is it that she wanted to talk to me about my wish list? I know she and I were talking about, me, dipping my toe into the ready-to-wear world. So I don't know if she said, okay, well, maybe there's a couple of things that she want me to try on and, see if I like it, see if it fits, whatever. I was trying to figure it out, and it was just bothering me. And I kept saying to her, what is going on? Is there something going on? What you want to talk to me about? What we got to discuss? And she was like, oh, you'll see on Friday. So I was like, oh, she ain't gonna tell me. She ain't gonna tell me. Okay. So I let it go. And then on Monday, I was at work and I had finished up some stuff a little early, and I was like, you know what? nah, I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's going on. So I text my Hermès SA and I was like, hey, I finished some stuff up a bit early and I have about an hour and a half to spare. Can I come to the store now? Is that okay? And she was like, I don't know if we have enough time. And I said, are you sure? Because I really want to know. And she's like, okay, fine. Come now. I think we might be able to do it. Come now. So I was like, okay. So I hightailed it to the store. So when I hightailed to the store and I got there, my SA was waiting for me and she said, okay, I really don't think we had enough time to do what I really wanted us to do, but I know you're curious and I know you're not going to stop until you find out what it is. So I'm just going to tell you. And I was like, tell me what? And she's like, you are getting a la carte offer. And I was like, excuse me? And she's like, you are getting an a la carte offer. We're going to sit down and you're going to create your bag. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, you joking, right? Are you serious? Like, seriously? And she's like, serious. I'm serious. And I'm like, stop it. Stop it. And she's like, I am serious. And I was like, okay, well, let's do it. Let's do it now. And she said, no, because we can't do it now because we don't have enough time. And another sales associate actually have a customer coming in within the next 20 or 30 minutes to do their a la carte order, or what we all call their special order. And so, they're going to need, the box that we use to present everything. And so I don't want to go into their appointment, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, girl, I know what I want. Come on. We can do it. I promise you, we can do it. We can do it. So she said, okay, all right. I will just let you peruse on the iPad and we can go over some things and then you can always come back Friday and we can do the full spiel. So I said, okay, no problem. So so she then, went in the back to get the iPad. And when she went in the back, I was like, OMG, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was just so happy and so giddy. And the funny thing about it is, like, because it was so unexpected, I really wasn't expecting it. I mean, it wasn't anything that we really discussed. I never discussed with her about getting a special order. I always thought that special orders were like reserved for, the top tier clients and I didn't think of myself as one of those, and I thought that, with due time that may happen. But, I don't know. I was just so shocked. So shocked. And just uber excited. So she came back out and she picked out, she brought out the iPad. And when she brought out the iPad, I said, well, I would like this bag, this leather, this color, this stitching, this hardware. And that was it. And she's like, wait, seriously? And I'm like, yeah, seriously. That's it. And she's like, okay, all right. So then she went and got some paperwork and started notating everything. And there you go. When she, while she was doing that, while she was notating things, the store manager came out and she was like, when we asked your SA, who she would like to offer a special order to, she immediately said your name and she said none of us was surprised. She said she really, really, really wanted this for you. And I was like, oh, wow. She's like, yes, I am so excited for you. And she, the manager then, kind of stood with me and kind of went over, what I picked. And we talked about it. And literally within 15 minutes, we were done. We were done. So in my process, I did not get to have the whole box of samples with the colors and the, you know, all that, and the different leathers and all that to peruse, you know. We didn't do all that. Now, I will tell you, I was able to see the leather that I chose in the color that I chose in person. And I was able to see the hardwares in person because, you know, it was one of those things where, you know, she wanted to ensure that I had a visual of that. So she did go, you know, get it out of the box and brought it to me and say, okay, this is what it would look like. Are you sure this is what you want? And I was like, exactly, I'm good, right? So now that we kind of have the whole atmosphere of how that happened and how surprised I was, and I was just like, let's just do it. Because, you know, in my mind, I'm like, let's do this before you change your mind. Okay. So, and it happened so quickly. So hopefully you can understand why, you know, I didn't take any pictures or anything like that. However, now I will tell you the exact kind of process. So what happens with your special order is Hermès call it their a la carte service, right? And it's called that because you get to pretty much pick specifics about the handbag that you will like. Now, the first process is one, to decide what handbag you will like. Now, from what I saw, the different offerings of handbags were either a Birkin, a Kelly, a mini Kelly, a Constance. I think I saw a mini Lindy, and I want to say a Ruli. And there were some other offerings, but those were the ones that I distinctively remember, right? So you could get a Kelly in the various sizes, you know, 25, 28, 32. You could either get it in the retourné or the Cellier configurations. There was also the Birkin in the different sizes, the 25, the 30, the 35. And again, you could either get it in retourné or Cellier. And then you had the mini Kelly, and then you had the Constance and the other bags. So your first choice is to choose the bag, right? After you choose the bag and its configuration and the size, then from there, the next thing you're going to do is choose the leather. Now, the leather offerings depended on the bag, right? So based on you picking a bag, then you could have whether, you know, whatever leather, right? And the leather offerings were Togo, Epson, Chev, Swift. Yes, those were the ones I recall seeing. And Clemence. Those were the leather offerings I did see. There were no options for any, like, what's the word? Exotics. There were no exotics because I distinctively was looking to see if I saw ostrich. But no, there was not any ostrich offering at all. There was, I did see off to the side, like croc offerings and, you know, and their colors, but I was told that the exotics is a different level or a different tier of special order offerings, and that didn't matter to me because I was not interested. I was not interested in any croc or alligator or anything like that. The only, you know, exotic I would have probably been interested in was ostrich, but ostrich was not any of that. You know, wasn't one of the options. So yeah, so then you pick your bag, you pick the size, and then after that you pick your leather. After you pick the leather, then you're going to pick the color. Now, the reason they did it like that, because there were certain offerings of certain colors depending on the leather that was chosen. And I'm going to put up a picture of the colorama for 2025 so that you can see and get an idea of the different color offerings for the different leathers. So yeah, so then you pick your color based on the leather that you chose. Now, my take on the colors were that they were mostly neutrals. There were a couple of more, you know, vibrant colors, but there wasn't many offerings of vibrant colors. There were more neutrals, and that was okay with me. I did see exactly a variation of the color that I wanted on there. So for the leather I wanted, so I was good to go. So then once you decide the color of the bag, then you can then choose if you wanted to basically have the interior color different from the exterior color. And with that, you can also choose if you wanted any, like if for instance, the sangles on the Birkin or the Kelly to be the same color as the interior, or if you wanted the sides of the bag different from the interior, different from the exterior. I think the maximum amount of colors you could choose were 3. So you could do, and I forgot the name of they call of the different ways you can do it, the different color dynamics. I do know, you know, one thing was called a verso. The verso is basically when you want the interior color different from the exterior color, but there was another name that they had for if you wanted the sides of the bag or the sangles to be a different color as well. So I'm going to look that name up and I'll put that name below. So yes, you can basically, you're picking the colors. Now, the interior lining of the bag is a different leather from whatever your exterior lining was. So if you chose, I don't know, Swift for the exterior, your interior lining was going to be Chev, right? So then there were colors for that Chev interior lining that you now could choose from. And I will put those colors again somewhere on the screen. So yeah, so then you pick your bag, you pick the size, you pick the leather, and then after that you pick your exterior color or colors, and then you're going to pick your interior color, right? Once you've done that, now you can choose the stitching, right? So you could decide if you want to have a contrast stitching, or you can choose if you want the same like monochromatic stitching where the stitching is the same color as the exterior of the bag. So then you get to choose your stitching colors. And then once after that, then the next thing you would choose is your hardware, right? So the offerings for the hardware were gold, brushed gold, palladium, brushed palladium, rose gold, or permabrass, right? So those were the hardware colors that you could choose. And certain bags had offerings for certain hardware colors. So that was the part that got me. Because the hardware color I had in mind, I could not get for the bag type that I chose. So yeah, so that's the only part of this process that I had to do a little bit more thinking, right? A little bit more thinking. And you're probably thinking, Lanisha, we all know you like gold hardware, so that should be an easy pick, right? Right. So I'll save those details for the unboxing. So yeah, so then you pick your hardware, and after you pick your hardware, that is basically it. And
hey, this is Editor Lanisha looking a hot mess. However, I forgot to mention that you also have the option of choosing your strap length depending on the bag that you choose. So there were different strap length offerings. So I think the strap lengths went from 85 centimeters all the way to, I think, 120 centimeters. And then you can also have the option of doing any embossing. So you could emboss the bag with your initials or a specific symbol or something like that. So you could have done those 2 additional things as well with your special order. So just wanted to come in and mention that because I did forget to mention that in the original video. All right.
And what they do is there is a mock-up of what the bag will look like on the iPad. So you can look at the iPad and you can see, okay, this is what the bag will basically look like with the colors and the style and all that you chose. And, you know, based on, you know, when you see that visual, and I really think that seeing that visual is very helpful, because once you see that visual, you might have a certain thing in your head and you may then say, once you see it, you know, on a visual, you might be like, oh, that's not quite what I had in mind, you know, and then you can make whatever changes, you know, based off the visual you see. So the visual will show you the exterior of the bag. It will show you the interior of the bag. It will kind of give you a 360 view of the bag, which I thought was really cool, you know, was really cool. And then once you decide, oh, okay, yes, everything looks great to me, then, you know, they make notation of everything, and that's it. And that's it. That's pretty much the entire process. Now, no down payment is required for a special order. You do not pay anything until you receive the bag. They say it can take anywhere from 6 months to 18 months to receive the bag. So it may be one of those things where I may receive the bag sometime this year, or it might be something that I don't receive until a year and a half from now. Who knows? Also, an exact price of what the bag would cost wasn't given. You know, it's you know, my sales associate kind of gave me a guesstimate of what she thought the bag would probably cost. However, because the timeline is uncertain, then you know, with price changes, you know, price increases, everything like that, that could change based on when you receive the bag, right? So usually we know there's usually some kind of price increase at least once a year at the beginning of the year. So if you don't receive your bag until the next year, then based on the prices of that year for whatever bag that was chosen, the leather that was chosen, then that would be the price. So I'm guessing that is the reason why you don't get a price. And so there's not a lock-in, say, okay, well, I requested my special order in 2025, so I'm going to get the 2025 price. No, if you get your bag in 2026 or 2027, you paying whatever that price is for that year. What else can I tell you? As I mentioned before, exotics is a whole different tier of special orders that is reserved for a different, you know, application process or whatever. Based on what the store manager mentioned to me in passing, I am guessing that each sales associate has the ability to give a special order maybe once or twice a year. And they would let their manager know who they are choosing to give their special order to, and their manager will approve or disapprove of that request. So I'm not quite sure if they only get one special order a year or two special orders a year, but even so, whether it be one or two, depending on the sales associate clientele, that may be a very hard decision as to who they want to present to their manager to offer that special order. So, and I don't know. I don't know what criteria they use to decide this. I don't know. I really don't know. But that is me making an assumption based on what, you know, the manager said in passing when she was like, oh, you know, when we asked your sales associate, you know, who would she like to give a special order, she immediately said your name, and, you know, I was not surprised, and I was very happy for you. So I thought that was great. What else can I tell you about that? Now, how special orders for an exotic bag will work, who knows? But it seems like that is reserved separately. What else can I tell you? What else can I tell you about it? Oh my God. Oh, okay. So one of the things that I was wondering about the special order process was it because of some, you know, videos I have watched in the past. I was wondering if it's something where you had to, you know, have a pre-spend, or now you got the special order, but you had to work up a pre-spend so that when the bag comes in, you can actually get the bag or something like that. And it's nothing like that. It's absolutely nothing like that. Once you get offered a special order, when that bag comes in, that bag is coming in with your name on it. And so when that bag comes in, they're going to call you and say, your bag is here. It doesn't matter if you spent $100,000 or $0. That is it. It is now up to you to go in, get your bag, and pay for it, obviously. So that's the thing with the special order. It is guaranteed for you. Once you got that offer, once you made your order, it is for you. You just need to go pay for it when it comes in. So that was the entire process. that was the entire process. As I said, for me, it was very quick. It took me about 10 to 15 minutes. Honestly, I didn't even sit down. The entire time I made my order, I did not sit down. I did it very quickly, all while standing. I was super excited. And also, you have to remember, I was on a break from work. So I guess, and it didn't matter to me. Did the inability to sit down and go through the whole process and all that, am I bothered by it? Absolutely not. It did not make it any less special to me. I was good. You know, my SA did tease me and was like, oh, you know, I really wanted to make it special for you. And I really wanted us to do the whole thing and take our time and go through it. I really wanted to do that for you. And you just like, and you stole that opportunity from me. I'm like, you are right. You get to do that with the next, the next person. I don't need all that fuss. I am good. Just the mere fact that I was offered a special order or an a la carte order, that was good enough for me. What else can I say? So yeah, the rest of the time that I had before I had to return to work, I used that time to peruse the store, and we talked about other things. And yeah, and you know what? It's one of those things where you can say, okay, Lanisha, how did you know what you wanted so quickly? Well, it was crazy because the week before I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about special orders, and we were saying that if we should ever get offered a special order, what would we even want? What would we pick? And, you know, I kind of threw out, you know, well, if I should ever get offered a special order, this is what I would like. And exactly what I said to her is exactly what I went in there and got. Honestly. Now, it would have been interesting because, as I said, there's only certain colors that are offered for certain leathers for certain bags, right? So it would have been interesting if what I had in my mind previously, if that wasn't even an offering for that. And to be honest, I didn't even know that's how the process went. So I was fortunate enough that what I had envisioned in that casual conversation with my really good friend, that it was available for me. So that was definitely a blessing. So it didn't really require much thought or hemming and awing or anything like that. It was like, voila, you know. And if y'all have gotten to know me, you know, I think maybe y'all can make a couple of guesses as to what you think I got. I would really like for you to leave in the comments below and tell me, what did y'all think I got? What kind of bag did you think I picked? What colors did you think I picked? You know, what leather do you think I picked? And what color hardware did you think I picked? You know, let me know. Did I do contrast stitching, or did I want the stitching to be the same as the rest of the bag? Let me know what you think. I would love to hear what, you know, you thought I got. So obviously, as you can tell throughout this video, I am not mentioning what I pick. I am going to save that till whenever this bag comes in, so that, you know, we can all be happy and excited to see it together. And I promise you, y'all, I will do better. I will do better at being a content creator and making sure I try to seize the moment so I can share with y'all. I will do better. But this is a great feeling for me. As far as I'm concerned, I'm hoping that I get my bag this year. And so if I get that bag this year, for me, I'm content, and I won't, you know, worry about getting another bag or another wish list item or anything like that as far as bags is concerned until next year, because, you know, I'm simplistic and I'm realistic with my finances. So other than that, though, there are some other things that I will like to get. So I'll probably, you know, pick up stuff here and there throughout the rest of the year until I wait for my bag, and kind of go from there. But who to tell? Because I am going to Paris in November. So, will I get lucky? We don't know. But let's see. Anyway, if you have stayed through this video and listened to my story time and listened to me ramble, I greatly appreciate it. If you have already subscribed, thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you have not yet subscribed, What are you waiting on? Come join our family. We would love to have you so you can continue on this journey with me of living life in the middle. All right, so I'll see you in the next one.
Hi, did you like my mommy's video? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. She'll be really happy. Bye!
Bye.